America, welcome back to Thailand, welcome back to me, True Blue Thai here in Thailand. I hope you're doing well. It's 1 Angkar in Tuesday here in Thailand. I think it's Tuesday, yeah, definitely, yeah, Tuesday. Gragarakum, July, that's Sipha, 15th, for instance, in Gragarakum. So halfway through, so the Denzel Dumfries, what's it called, to get him at half the price at 25 mil is today, I believe. I believe it was yesterday or today. It's 15th, I'm sure it's today. So I think, for instance, that actually it is that time now. For instance, about a month before, I think the transfer window will start hotting up, and I think players will be either leaving or going, etc. But we'll see. But we'll see. So we'll see what happens with Denzel. I don't think it will happen now. I was actually, again, I'm going to big up this guy, for instance, who does an amazing job. He really does. It's typical City with Johnny. I'm going to steal a couple of his things and put on my thumbnail today. I'm going to talk about it because, again, the three problems Man City have, right? Because, again, so I'm still listening to City fans talk about Rodrigo and Valverde, or the City Ramble he was tapping about Valverde. Forget it. We don't need anything like that. Rodrigo, whatever. We'll trust in the guys we've got up there. Up front, I'm okay with. It's the transitions, and it's and the goalkeeping situation. That is my worry, and the homegrown situation. This is my concern. With Man City's first team squad. It is for instance, it's the full. It's that, and for instance, either getting a right back. And again, what's it called? A lot of people get Dumfries, that's fine, good right back, blah blah blah, at a cheap price. But he's also not homegrown, and homegrown is where we got a problem at the moment. And I'll come on to that in a moment because I'm borrowing this from Typical City. Johnny did a great thing yesterday because they've been talked about by LB, by for instance, Hugh's back, by the way. Well done, welcome back, Hugh. Good, I want to see your emotion, mate. But also, for instance, a lot of people talk about the Sky Blue Times. I think a few others, JCG, will also talk about homegrown, and we've got to address that. So it's all right getting players, for instance, who are non-homegrown. Well, we've got too many at the moment, and we don't have enough homegrown, and we're so going to be screwed for the Champions League. And as Johnny said yesterday, it's all right talking about the Premier League and the Champions League difference between homegrown are different. But if you stick with the the Champions League, then you cover both bases of the requirements, which is smart. But so I agree with what it's like saying. So getting Dumfries it will solve the right back problem to a point, but because we're not going to get Livramento unless we put a cheeky bid, and I just don't need to see it, really don't. Anyway, but if we get to live Denzel Dumfries in, but he also doesn't help with our homegrown issue. Let's just have a quick look at this. Just do some housework. So Man City have agreed a long-term extension with partnership of Puma. So we're still sticking with Puma now for the next event. The deal will be announced today. So it looks like we're staying with Puma now for a while. I think they're done a pretty damn decent job, and I think the latest one, etc., is 5-star, really good. Yeah, it's really good. So I'm really happy with Puma and their kits. Adidas is one kit I do not want to go to. I don't want the bloody stripes. I think that looks stupid. Why did they insist on making these stupid stripes? Even though for instance, I just don't. I find the kits really pathetic, and I really don't like them as well. Going back to Lacoste, with it, they did the lovely kit, the best kit. Is it Lacoste? No, the French. Was it French? Yeah, the one. The Kappa. That's nice. But other than that, I think this one is a winner for me. I think this one and the second and the third kit is a winner. The green kit, forget it. I'm sorry, I'm just not having that one at all. Even a Man City football player can't pull off the green. Ask me to compete get the green kit. Anyway, so So let's have a look. What other information has come out today? See, the ladies are back in training. It's good to see them all happy and smiling. Who are not at the Club World Cup. So, for instance, we got our Japanese contingent back as well. Alfie Holt, 20 bases, pleaded guilty of assault on Jack Grealish. After his arrest, Holt police said he was shouting abuse at Man City players, including Phil Foden. Oh yeah, who ignored him. Yeah, ignore the idiot. So some clowns, isn't they? So Alfie Holt, 20 years old, you're a complete idiot. You know, abusing Jack Grealish and and just a bit bitter. But as I said, like for instance, I actually saw one of our Man City United. There you go. Salford City to appoint City's group executive Gavin Fleisberg as CEO. He's a 45-year-old Englishman who's worked at Bolton, Newcastle, and Man City before CFG. Significant coup for Salford City. So so another one trying a Man City, an ex-Man City player, an ex-City. They're either going for our graduates, Chelsea stealing our graduates, and our EDS players, and like for instance, so you've got Labap and Maresca, and you've got what was his name, Cole Palmer, for instance, and whoever they can steal Chelsea from Man City. And you've also got you've got seniors, our senior players actually, our executives going off to Salford City, Salford City. Who runs Salford City? The Rags. So no United player, no United executive, but no, always going for the City executives. Why? Again, it's just this thing which I've always believed. Manchester City is a very, very well run club, and we don't get half as many pat on the backs. I listen to talk crap. They will talk about Brighton and Bournemouth and Brentford and they are very good run clubs. But the problem is nobody actually backs up Man City. And what's it called? You look at the managers now, for instance, in the Premier League. You look at Arteta, for instance, used to be work for Man City regardless. You look at Maresca, Man City, Pep Guardiola, Man City, of course. And then you've got others, in a lot of the our backroom staff, etc. goes off to Spain and play whatever to be coaches of their own of coaches, and other clubs, etc. So all Man City. What's that say? Anyway, so let's pop onto the homegrown situation because I'm waffling a bit. Anyway, so it appears that, for instance, so he was talking about. A really, really good, interesting. He was actually talking about the homegrown, and so the current squad is of homegrown players is non-homegrown players: Edison, Ortega, Diaz, Kuzinov, Rios, Akanji, Guardiola, Aït-Nouri, Rodri, Reinders, Nico G, Nunes, Kovacic, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Echeverri, Doku, Savinho, Shirky, Mahmoud, and Haaland. Non-homegrown, we've only got 9. Bettinelli, new goalkeeper, Stones, Aki, Lewis, McAtee, Grealish, Foden, and Bob. So that was it. But I expected that to be trimmed down, to which me as well. It'll probably go down to the fact that we'll probably get rid of a few of the players. So if we look at, we get rid of good Grealish won't be playing, and then we're going to lose McAtee. So that's 2 from the homegrown squad. So, but if we bring in a new right back, but he was insisting it has to be homegrown, which I'm really believe it has to be now. But a non-homegrown was to go with the 25 Manchester City Champions League squad: Edison, Ortega, Diaz, Kuzinov, Akanji, Guardiola, Aït-Nouri, Rodri, Reinders, Nico G, Nunes, Bernardo Silva, Doku, Savinho, Turkey, and Mahmoud, and Haaland, which means we'll probably, he was convinced to saying, and I agree with him. That's the reason why I'm saying this. I agree with him, not because I'm a parrot, it's because I agree with what he's saying. And even though I love Kovacic, and he had a great season, his best goal scoring season, again, we need to keep Nico G and need to plan for the future. for instance, and see if we can, and also Gundo, love you Gundo, really do. I think you're absolutely super, great guy. Great that you returned, got a lot of flack which you didn't deserve last season, and but I think it's time to move on. So losing those, it would be a shame to see this go. I'm going to say legend. I can't stand when people legend. He's a legend. He's a legend. You know, and God, you know, and but he's I find to always be remembered and always be loved. I met the guy a couple of times as well. Lovely guy, absolutely beautiful guy. He's very soft spoken. Pep's first signing, and can always do a job. Stands up, you know, and Mr. Whippy deserves a big thumbs up, as well as Kovacic as well. So I'd be sad to see him go. Grealish, Jack, honestly say, mate, what's it called for your career, your life? We know you love your club. We love you too, and we hope that to see you go move on and to better pastures new. So for instance, and great. Be sad to see him go, but unfortunately, we just gotta turn over a new chapter. Even though it's heartbreaking to see him go. Lovely bloke, regardless. Got a lot of rubbish, you know, and too much again, and booed by so many fans as well. Just absolutely disgusting. So for instance, in McAtee, Jason, shame that it hasn't worked out for you at Man City, but I wish you all the best. Again, I'm going to be sat there looking at you going, and a lot of people go say, why are you saying McAtee? Because if he goes off and if he goes to Germany, it wouldn't be that bad. But if he goes to an English Premier League side, etc., and starts cooking for Notts Forest or whoever, then I'll be pretty damn disappointed. But so I expect that would probably be the, you know, and I don't want to lose players. I'd rather keep them all, to tell you the truth. But unfortunately, for instance, we've got to comply with the Champions League registrations, and Pep also don't want to listen to Pep or anybody else moaning about Pep always wants a small squad. He doesn't. He wants a small squad because he wants a manageable squad with players, for instance, who are not going to moan. He does, you know, because again, it must be heartbreaking for him when he says, "Listen, you can't come." And fortunately, for instance, you know, and he gets so much crap for this. I really do. And you know, he's not the only manager who feels this way. You know, and I don't think many managers will sit there and want to tell a player, "You're not coming today." In any way, or whatever, you got to stay home. You're not coming to you're not in the Champions League squad. Blah blah blah. It must be awful, you know. And I can understand why he's feeling, and you can see why certain players, like we've had, who's in the past, etc. The right back went off to Saudi and screwed us, and again, Cancelo, you know, and not being happy, causing a bit of eruptions in the dressing room. So. It's so. But I do believe, for instance, he is resigned to a point. I do believe, because I've heard him say on more than one occasion, he is resigned. He needs the big squad. We need a bigger squad. We can't stick because I can't see. God knows, hope not. I don't want see so many injuries from last season. It's just unbelievable. And so for instance, the injuries were just terrible last season. But hopefully we'll have the players will have a good enough rest now. Come back, we'll have a couple of friendlies and start against Wolves and start on fresh and with new players in as well. So, but he was talking about the fact that if we're going to get a new right back, it's got to be a right back, okay? And he was actually asking about so Victor Reese, etc. put on loan. Echeverria on loan. So it's a shame. I'd rather keep Victor Reese, to tell you the truth, and get rid of maybe a Kanji. So, but we'll see. Now, the name he actually brought up was, and he actually compared the stats, was Djed Spence from Spurs, and because it said Spurs are in a bit of a predicament to sell because they've got too many. What was that damn stat? That thing they're called. You got homegrown players, but you also got you need 4 associated trained players required and 4 clubs trained acquired. Stupid, God damn it. I can kind of understand why they're trying to protect the homegrown players against what's called clubs just having solely non-homegrown players, but my God, when you're doing this, it just adds to the issue, my God, and it's just unbelievable. So players got to be sold because he's not going to be part of the Champions League squad. So with Spurs, because we were talking about Spurs, It says Solanke is one, Davis is one, Madison's one, Johnson's one, Spencer's one, Gray's one, Phillips one, and only Austin and Gibbs White is also one. So for instance, only you can have 4, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got a worse homegrown issues than us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 players who are part of the associate trained players required, and you have to only have maximum 4. So and with 4, and they've only got 1 club trained player in Austin. So yeah, so Spurs have got an issue, a massive issue with homegrown players. So they've got enough homegrown players, but they're associately trained players. It's just, talk about you. Shut up, man, Christ. If the guy's English or whatever, or he's homegrown, should I say? That's it. You shouldn't have more rules and regulations into it. But typical, Anyway, so but they're saying this guy Djed Spence, etc. Plus is. For instance, is part of that, so they need to sell. But Spurs are not going to sell to Man City, or but we'll see. But he did compare Djed Spence to Livramento, and he was very, very favourable towards Spence over Livramento, because everybody thinking Livramento. Just listen to the City Ramble, and he was going about, if we get Livramento, and I was listening to LB, and they were all going the same thing. Get Livramento, problem solved. But for instance, but also this guy here, who's going to cost a lot less, for a lot less money, we can get him for cheaper price. So and his stats, again, the stats, and that's what I love about typical City. He does bring the stats, and that's the reason why we talk about Edison. I've listened to LB before, and he was so happy. He was talking about Edison, and he was saying how much he backed Edison. And for instance, and how much when he was so pleased when Edison decided to stay at City, how happy it was. But then he said also when City, but he was, but he couldn't understand. He was upset because of all the bozo moments of the Club World Cup. But listen to Sky Blue Times, and he said, there was other players who, and Edison was overly badly treated. So everybody's blaming Edison for what happened against the Hull. But also with Sky Blue Times, when they broke it down, it wasn't just Edison who was at fault. It was like the Gundogan, Ignore, when people talk about he's not a very good defender. So it's and again, but overall, with the stats, which I saw on typical City, who chose. Yes, he has his bozo. Yes, I don't know if he's dialed in as I think he put it. I hope he is. But he's getting a lot of abuse, and he got a lot of abuse before, and he's a bit of a sensitive soul, so we don't know. But if he is, I think we should definitely stick with Edison without a shadow of a doubt, because he plays the City way, and he does have Bozema. But again, he's got 10 players have got that ball's got to get past 10 players before he gets to Edison. So for instance, what's the others doing? He's not always the comparison. He's not an Onana, for Christ's sake. But and he's a football and a goalkeeper. And unfortunately, when goalkeepers like striker misses a shot, and like Harlan misses and 1-on-1, etc. It's like But if Edison actually drops a clanger and you got 2 positions where the players get really, really scrutinised a lot. And for me, anyway. So, but I still think Edison's the best deal. And again, Trafford, etc., getting charged out. But I believe it's Stalling. There was talk about Stalling at Newcastle now, because he wants to play for City, but he's not going to come to City if he's going to be starting. He's not starting, but will he start for Newcastle? Probably not. So yeah, it's just things we need to get sorted out. Really is. But getting Trafford in would help the homegrown situation in City. But again, we'll see. It's a tough, and that Djed Spence and those stats, etc., would really, really trip me up. One thing I like about Talking City is because he was the one who actually got me on Turkey. He was the one who was saying, well, why the hell forget about what was it called? Another Judas who went to Liverpool. What was his name? What's it called? Anyway, so forget about him. He said, why don't we go for Turkey? We get it for half the price. And I'm like, what? Who's that? And then suddenly we go in for it, and everybody's yay! He turns out to be a great player. It's Johnny, he's glued on. I really respect with Jolly. You know, he makes these great videos. Anyway, so and that's why. Anyway, guys, True Blue Tie from Thailand. Have a good day. I'll speak to you tomorrow.